Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to Lights, Camera, History. For this historical review, we're going to do a little true crime history in celebration of Halloween. Halloween derives from the Old English All Hallows Day, and Halloween is a rough translation meaning Eve of Hallows Day. All Hallows Day is the celebration and feast honoring Christian martyrs. Fast forward hundreds of years later, and young people in horror movies are being martyred on screen, and their blood has been covering Hollywood cameras for over 100 years. One of the most celebrated horror movies is Friday the 13th. The movie Friday the 13th was released in 1980 and has spawned 11 sequels from hell. Legends don't die, and neither does Jase M. Here's what you may not know. Friday the 13th was loosely based on a real murder. This is the haunting, true story of Friday the 13th. But before we go camping to meet our demons, smash that subscribe button. We also have another video like this on The Conjuring. A link will be down below in the description. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Links in the descriptions as well. In the comments section, let us know your favorite Jason movie. But please, no martyrs. Okay, let's scream. Friday the 13th stars Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Pamela Voorhees, Adrienne King as Alice, Harry Crosby as Bill, Janine Taylor as Marcy, Laurie Bartram as Brenda, Kevin Bacon as Jack. It was directed by Sean Cunningham and written by Victor Miller. Despite only having a budget of $500,000, the movie would gross almost $60 million, meaning that the sequels could afford a lot more fake blood. The movie begins in 1958 at Camp Crystal Lake. Counselors Barry and Claudette sneak inside a cabin to do, you know, what teenagers do. In present-day 1979, camp counselor Annie is hitchhiking on the way to the reopened Camp Crystal Lake. She's picked up by a truck driver, Enos. The old guy warns her as well as the other townspeople. She learns of a young boy being drowned at the lake many years ago. After being dropped off, she hitches another ride from an unseen person. This girl's just asking to die. When they get to the camp, the guy just keeps on driving. Annie escapes the vehicle and the killer chases her into the woods and slashes her throat. Eek! Another group of teenagers decide to go camping on the lake on Friday the 13th. This group of teenagers go there to reopen the camp for the summer after years of failed attempts. What they don't know is that once upon a time, a little boy drowned there because the counselors didn't pay attention. They were too busy playing doctor. That boy was Jason Voorhees, and now someone seeks revenge for his death on his birthday, Friday the 13th, and anybody at the camp is in danger. There isn't one accepted theory on why 13 is considered unlucky, but it likely traces back to Norse mythology of 12 gods having a dinner party, and an uninvited one showing up making 13 who would betray all of them. Friday the 13th is loosely based on the Lake Bodom murders from Finland. In 1960, Niles Gustafson awoke to find the bodies of 3 of his friends in his tent. They were all stabbed and beaten. Niles had cuts, bruises, and a broken facial bone. Police never made an arrest, and the killer was never caught. Upon showing up, the police really don't know what to make of the crime scene. Neil's girlfriend was found undressed from the waist down and was lying on top of the tent and had suffered the most injuries out of all the victims. She was stabbed multiple times after her death, whilst the other 2 teenagers were slain with less brutality. Niles was also found on top of the tent. The crime scene was not preserved or cataloged. The description that Niles gave was incredibly creepy. I mean, one man dressed all in black with glowing red eyes was all police had to go on. Despite the lack of evidence, police had a few suspects. The first, a local man with mental health issues. His wife alibied him during the attacks. The other was a KGB agent. Needless to say, the case grew cold and became part of the lake's evil folklore. The movie and the true crime essentially share the basics of the murder, which is the young teens being murdered violently at a campsite. Beyond that, it's Hollywood's imagination. It wasn't until 2004 that Gil Gustafson was arrested for the murders based on new evidence. Police were confident they had their man despite not much evidence. He was acquitted the following year. According to the jury, Gil didn't have a motive and there was no murder weapon. It is important to note no other murders have been linked to Gil, and he's since lived a quiet life. We thank you for watching, and we hope we scared you to death. If you want to know more about the Lake Bodom murders, check out the podcast Morbid, a true crime podcast, which you can find on Spotify. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'm coming to your tent and sticking an arrow through your throat. Ha 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 ha.